Hello, and welcome on this session on how NaaS can enhance the customer experience. My name is Johanne Mayer. I'm the director of MayerConsult and the founder of NaaS Compass. Let's go into drivers for transformation. Now, we all know that service providers are looking for growth. And if we look at the people like you and I and the small and medium enterprise, with COVID, even before COVID, the growth wasn't that great anymore. But where there is growth is around the enterprise applications. Think about connected cars or robotic manufacturing, even the doctor, the remote surgery, things around Internet of Things. This is where there's a lot more growth happening. But then again, the problem is that service providers have always sold with a direct line of sight. They're selling to customers like you and I. They're selling to small and medium enterprises. They're selling to larger enterprises and they talk to them and they sell them things. But when it comes to connected cars, will the service providers sell connected cars? Will they sell remote surgery? Will they even, talk to the doctors to sell them remote surgeries? No. But what they have to do is actually insert themselves in the chain for delivering remote surgery, for delivering connected cars and things like that. And so what they have to do is to now expose their network capabilities via APIs so that developers can reuse the network capability that service providers have and make something out of it and new growth, new opportunities of the innovations that are going to be delivered from all of these IoTs and the developers that are writing the applications. So today, service providers they offer you home internet, mobile services, but the way it's done is very complex and it's very tight. And that's what I'm going to talk to you about is the challenges facing service providers for today, offering in an automated fashion their network as a service, exposing their network capability. And this is what NaaS transformation I want to tell you about. And why would you do that? Is because it should help you in tapping higher revenue growth opportunities and delivering products and solution at least 50% faster. And of course, it will lead to an enhanced customer experience and simplifying your partnership so that when you deliver things such as drone as a service or surveillance as a service, then you can work with your partners, integrate them into your back office in a very seamless manner and an automated manner. We've done some proof of concepts with large service provider. In this case, this is with AT&T that we've done this proof of concept, and where they're estimated at least 50% shorter time to revenue and 50% reduction in provisioning time. We did a proof of concept on around wavelength services, and so it's not even just for the newer application, but NaaS is actually very beneficial for even the traditional services that you can expose. So if NaaS is the answer, what's in the way? What's happening today that are stopping you from doing this very easily, let's say? Well, today, we all know that the back office or the OSS and the BSS are connected to all of the network devices, EMSs, and network services, and so on. But they have all of that knowledge in all of their systems. Okay, so every product is tied to a service, and the service is defined by these and these and these resources. Now, we created network function virtualization, hoping that we would reduce the network, the custom hardware that was there. But in fact, what we have created is just more spaghetti line because to reach and to understand how to manage all of these different devices, we have to create new spaghetti lines, and it's a mess, and it takes so long. Why does it take so long? Again, as I was telling you, there's a tight coupling in all of their OSS and BSS systems that says that they have to know all the way down to each resources how it's configured, how you're going to collect the alarms, how you're going to collect the KPIs for performance management, and so on. And so it reduces the agility at the network level because the IT system needs to know any changes, anything that's happening. Then anytime you want to create a new product or you want to change a supplier or add a supplier, it's very, very project management intensive because you have so many moving parts. You have to involve the project team, you have to involve the IT systems, you have to involve your network teams. And let's say it's a complex product that involves multiple different groups because of the different technology that are involved in a complex offering, then it's a huge project and it costs a lot of money. There's also the cost of the system integration. Did you know that actually in the projects, 80% of the time or the cost of the project is actually for system integration. So you only get 20% of the innovation when you're starting a new project because the cost of these SIs for API adopters and maintenance of the APIs and all of those things is so expensive. Also, you need a lot of technical specialists that are needed because if all your IT system need to understand all of the resources to configure them, to collect the alarms and so on, then you need a lot of technical specialists at all of the resource level into your IT systems. And there shouldn't be, you don't need to have them at the network, in the network team and in the IT systems, right? And there's also a lack of reusability because if you're going to be using a firewall in, say, your managed firewall service or your internet security service or in different things, you will probably have to typically use the different firewalls. And so, in average, the product creation and delivery can take up to 12 to 19 months to deliver something new. And how are you going to work with developers? Like there's no interfaces in there. You have to go through your product catalogs and your order system. So where you need to go, service providers are moving more into a NaaS style of things. So with NaaS, we are talking about a new framework. This is where you have your management domain. So think about the way you're organized today. You'll probably have a transport group and maybe an IP group and maybe a mobile group and a media group and a cable group and so on. So we can start with those organizations and have them expose services and abstracted services without exposing your resource level. And so your IT systems certainly are a lot more simplified. And so you abstract and expose services. Then at the network level, you can also create a end-to-end composite service such that the life cycle of that service is handled within the network and not as siloed things. Then what you'll need to do is to build an integration fabric. And so that's typically an API gateway. Now, at first, you'll probably do it more as an internal gateway to manage your OSS, BSS to the network. But you have to think long term. You have to think about how, just like AWS did, when Jeff Bezos says, all of your services need to be exposed, and you need to think about them being able to expose them to third party, to external. And so you need to have them secured and being able to be exposed so that any other third party can reuse them. And so even though you might start with just the OSS, BSS talking to your network domain services, think long term as you move along. Then you need to enhance your IT system because you need to remove all of their knowledge of the resource level so that suddenly at the network level, you can be a lot more flexible, a lot more agile in changing things. And so where you're moving more is towards a faster time to market and reduce costs with little to no SI costs in the NaaS framework with greater product flexibility because there's no knowledge of the resource level in your IT system. You'll do faster integration with your partner. Imagine if you were to partner with another service provider and they expose their services, how much faster that would be to create new types of offerings. And what I'm talking to you about, this is not just me creating something. This is based on industry support as well. So if you look at the Etsy Zero Touch Service and Network Management, they have that architecture. We're using here the TM Forum API because they're technology agnostic. And so this is based on the standards. The MEF LSO, the Lifecycle Service Orchestration, are reusing the TM Forum APIs that I'm talking about here. And ONAP is also reusing the same TM Forum APIs. And so it is actually leveraging a lot of things that are happening in the standards. And all of this will lead to greater customer experience. I know this is a quick presentation because I only have 20 minutes, but let me give you a little flavor on how you're going to achieve simpler processes with a lot more efficiency if you move into NaaS. So here's how things are today. Today, a product manager would have an idea, a concept, and then they would secure approval for that concept, and then they'd start talking with the product team. Now, all of these ideas have to be developed from scratch because they can't really reuse anything that's out there, because anything new is a brand new program process, and you need new spaghetti lines to go and talk to anything that is required in terms of the product to service to resource, because that's how your IT systems work. Then you have your ideas, and you go and you talk to your program manager, you go and talk to your IT system, your network engineering, and then you have to ask them, please give me an estimate how long it's going to take for you to implement something, and how much it's going to cost you. And then you have to wait significantly for each of the team to produce their proposal. They have to understand, they may have to talk to partners to deliver something. They may have to try to get, how much it would cost to integrate things. And then 3 to 4 months later, then you get into securing your business case, and then you start to do the development. Well, you start doing the development into your IT systems, and you have to do the development and the integration into your network system, independent of one another. And then you have to schedule, when can I put that next release to support these new things? And you may have significant weights in there. And then you're moving to your testing. First, you have to do your individual component testing, and then you'll have to do your integration testing between the IT systems and the network system. Make sure that they're talk to one another. There will be APIs in there, but they're point-to-point APIs. That's why you have your spaghetti mess, okay? And then basically you'll have your issue identifying testing, and then you may have to retest and things like that. And it will take you between 13 to 19 months to do currently how to do these things. In a NaaS framework, you can create a sandbox that is the same thing as your pre-production and your production, because you're exposing your services, and then they're all exposed through the same API, whether it's a media service, a transport service, a wireless service, it doesn't matter. It will all be exposed in the same fashion, and the same integration with the IT systems. And suddenly you start with an idea. You already have a catalog of predefined services that are already being exposed. And so you can start just modify them or assembling them together. And then when there's a new idea, you can leverage your sandbox that you already have, and you bring your customers and you test things with your customer. And then you can prototype, and then you can get things a lot quicker and faster. And it's a collaborative process with your IT and your network engineering, because now the more the network will be able to deliver their solution and expose their solution. But whether they use this supplier or that supplier, or they change supplier along the way, doesn't matter, because the IT systems don't need to know about it, because all you're doing is you're exposing an abstraction of a service. And so suddenly you're going through things a lot quicker because you're using the same interface, the same API. So as long as you test those APIs, things are going to work. And now you're going down to 4 to 6 months to deliver new products and services. And you're also enabling things for your developers. And so how do you get there? And to achieve a successful transformation, whether in NaaS Compass is there to look at a people-centric approach through courses, mentoring, and framework solution. Build framework solutions such that a project management tool that actually guides you through all of the things you need to do for your business cases, for your planning phases, for your execution phases, where you have the full project that are being monitored remotely. And I guide you through, helping you with tools and standards pieces. And so, what are the next steps? The next steps involve people from each department to learn about NaaS, learn about the current challenges and where it's going to lead them, and understand, so they understand where they fit in there. Because if they don't understand why you're doing that, you're pushing them, then they're going to become detractors. They're going to push back and they're going to put roadblocks along the way for you to do a successful transformation. I've seen it. I was part of Telstra NaaS transformation. I have been helping other service providers in um, eliminating those roadblocks. And so I know that people, they get pushed with changes, they don't like it, and they push back. And so look at the NaaS Compass. I am in beta training right now. And so please, contact me and go to NaaS Compass and sign up if you're interested in that. And then we'll have a further discussion. Evaluate if NaaS is fit for your organization. If that's where you want to go, we'll create a business case and we'll do the plan and execute your NaaS transformation. You can do it, right? Remotely. Even in COVID times, everything can be done remotely because I'll provide you with the tool for you to do it. You don't need an army behind you to do it. Any questions? Thank you.